My boyfriend uninvited me from his younger brother's wedding and took his ex-girlfriend instead because his mother thought I was a downgrade. Then he told everyone I had collapsed at home and begged him to attend without me. By the time his father called asking which hospital I was in, I was sitting in a hotel room 20 minutes away, watching my best friend eat pizza from the box. And Christian's ex-girlfriend was sitting in my assigned seat, eating the salmon dinner I had helped pay for. But the wedding lie was not where our relationship broke. It was only where I stopped pretending I could repair it. My name is Tanya Wilson. I'm 29, and I work in pharmaceutical quality control. I test medication batches, verify documents, and stop production when something looks wrong. It is not glamorous work, but it is stable, precise, and useful. Christian once said, those were the things he loved most about me. Later, I learned they were also the things he resented. I met him at a coffee shop near my apartment in October 2022. He was sitting alone, trying not to cry while his debit card declined and the line behind him grew. I know there was money in there yesterday, he told the bank. The barista folded her arms. Sir, you need to step aside. Before I could reconsider, I handed her my card. I've got his. The total was $4.80. That was all it cost to enter the most expensive relationship of my life. Christian looked up at me with red eyes. You didn't have to do that. I know. Then let me buy you coffee sometime. 3 days later, he told me about Bianca Cross. Bianca was beautiful, reckless, and always chasing some new business idea. According to Christian, she borrowed money, damaged his credit, disappeared for days, and cheated with at least 3 men. Still, whenever he said her name, his voice changed. He called it trauma. I mistook it for closure. Bianca eventually left him for a younger nightclub owner. Christian stopped working, stopped answering friends, and spent a week eating takeout in the dark. That was when he met me. I was the opposite of Bianca. I showed up. I paid bills early. I never vanished. I believed peace was something 2 people built together. Christian said peace was exactly what he needed. For the first 6 months, I believed him. His finances were a disaster. He had nearly $15,000 spread across 6 credit cards. I built a spreadsheet and showed him he was losing hundreds every month to interest. No one ever taught me this, he said. I can help. And I did. I helped him consolidate the debt, organize automatic payments, and build a budget. Within a year, he reduced the balance by almost $5,000. When his credit score rose 70 points, he hugged me in the kitchen and cried, "You changed my life." At the time, it sounded like love. When his old car began failing, I co-signed for a newer one. When he decided to finish his communications degree, I covered most of our rent while he completed 9 classes. $1,700 a month for 18 months. I ate cheap meals, wore the same work clothes, and ignored my own car problems because Christian needed tuition, books, and fees. He graduated in the spring of 2024. I was in the front row taking pictures. 2 months later, he found a job at a boutique public relations firm. $41,000 a year, business cards, catered lunches, and a desk by a window. He started dressing better, exercising, and buying expensive clothes. I was proud of him. I thought we were finally reaching the part where the sacrifices became ours, instead of mine. The first crack appeared at his parents' summer cookout. Christian's mother, Helen, invited the whole family. His father, David, worked the grill. His younger brother, Nicholas, came with his fiancée, Julia. I was helping David when I heard Helen talking to her sister, Diane. "Tanya seems lovely," Diane said. "She is very responsible," Helen replied. Diane waited. Helen added, "Very stable." The way she said stable made it sound like an illness. "That might be good after Bianca," Diane said. Helen laughed. Bianca had personality. Christian was alive when he was with her. Tanya is safe. I looked toward Christian. He was sitting less than 6 feet away, staring at his phone. He heard her. I knew because his thumb stopped moving, but he said nothing. David noticed my expression. "Don't let Helen get to you," he murmured. She has opinions about everyone. I nodded, but I kept watching Christian. His mother had reduced me to a sedative in front of the family, and his silence agreed with her. A month later, Christian began changing. First came the new cologne, then the music Bianca used to like, then tighter clothes, darker colors, and more attention to his hair. Whenever I complimented him, he seemed irritated. "I'm just trying to look professional, Tanya." Then came the phone. One night, while we were watching a movie, his screen lit up. "Bianca. Still thinking about our talk. Are you free this weekend?" Christian grabbed the phone and turned it face down. "Why is Bianca asking if you're free?" He sighed. "She reached out last week. And you answered. She's in therapy. She wanted to apologize." "Then why does she want to see you?" "It's called closure. Adults do it." I watched the rest of the movie while he kept the phone in his hand. A week later, another message appeared while I was making breakfast. "Bianca. Can't wait to see you. It's been too long." Christian walked into the kitchen moments later. "Your phone went off." He saw the screen and typed quickly. "Work." It said Bianca. His face hardened. "Were you reading my messages?" "It appeared on the screen." "That doesn't mean you should stare at it." "Are you meeting her? We might get coffee." "You said she only wanted to apologize." "She does. Her message says she cannot wait to see you." Christian threw the phone on the counter. "You're becoming paranoid." "Are you lying to me?" "No." The answer came too fast. "Coffee," he said. "One time, then it's finished." Neither of us ate breakfast. In September, we attended Nicholas and Julia's engagement party. During dinner, Helen stood with a wine glass. "To Nicholas and Julia," she said. "Julia, you're ambitious, charming, and you make my son light up." Everyone applauded. Then Helen looked at Christian. "I hope you're taking notes. This is what it looks like when someone finds the right person." The table went silent. Christian forced a laugh. "Thanks, Mom," Helen continued. "Tanya is wonderful in her own way, but when you were with Bianca, there was energy. You seemed so alive." I slowly set down my fork. David muttered. "Helen, stop. I'm only saying passion matters. Tanya is safe, but is safe enough for the rest of your life?" I looked at Christian. He stared at his plate. "Say something," I whispered. He did not. So I stood. "If you think I'm boring, Helen, say it directly instead of turning your son's engagement dinner into a performance." Helen blinked. "I never said boring." "You said safe. We both know what you meant." I looked at Christian one last time. Still nothing. I left before anyone could see my hands shaking. Christian found me in the hallway. "I'm sorry. She's been drinking. She compared me to Bianca in front of everyone." "I know. And you let her." "I didn't want to cause a scene." "Your mother caused the scene." He reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I'm going home. Don't be dramatic." That sentence hurt more than Helen's speech. "I'm not being dramatic, Christian. I'm noticing." I drove home alone. 2 days later, Christian was at work when his tablet lit up on the kitchen counter. A notification appeared from a family group chat containing Christian, Helen, and Diane. The device was unlocked. I opened it. Christian had written that he missed the excitement Bianca brought into his life. Helen replied that he was allowed to want more than stability. Diane told him not to settle. Then Helen sent the message that changed everything. "Bring Bianca somewhere. Spend real time with her. See whether the spark is still there." Christian replied that it was terrible advice. Helen answered, "It is practical advice. Better to know now than after you marry the wrong woman." I photographed every message. Then I returned the tablet exactly where I found it. That evening, I cooked dinner and asked Christian about his day. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and told me he loved me. I smiled back. But for the first time, I understood that someone could say they loved you while quietly deciding how to replace you. And Nicholas's wedding was only 5 weeks away. 5 weeks disappeared faster than I expected. Nicholas and Julia's wedding was scheduled for October 12th. Christian was the best man. He spent every evening obsessing over seating charts, rehearsal schedules, and speeches. Julia's family owned a successful medical supply company, and everyone kept reminding him that the wedding would be attended by executives, attorneys, and local business owners. He wanted everything to look perfect. I wanted to support him, so I bought a new dress instead of wearing one I already owned. It wasn't cheap, but I wanted him to feel proud introducing me to everyone there. 2 nights before the wedding, I modeled it for him in our living room. What do you think? Christian barely looked up from his phone. It's nice. Just nice? It's very you. I laughed awkwardly. What does that mean? He shrugged. Safe. The word landed like a punch. What should I have bought? I don't know. Something with personality. There it was again. I folded the dress carefully and hung it back in the closet. So, what time are we leaving Saturday? Christian locked his phone and placed it on the coffee table. About that. Something inside me already knew. My mom thinks it'll be awkward if you come. I stared at him. What? After everything that's happened, she thinks people will compare you and Bianca. I waited. He said nothing else. So maybe it's better if you skip the wedding. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're uninviting me? It's not like that. It sounds exactly like that. I'm trying to protect you. No. I stood. You're protecting yourself. He rubbed his forehead. Tanya, please don't make this harder. Harder? I laughed once. Your mother insults me for months. You stay silent every single time. Now you're telling me I'm not welcome at your own brother's wedding because she thinks I'm a downgrade. I never said downgrade. You didn't have to. His silence had already said it. I don't want drama in front of Julia's family. There it was. Appearances. That's what mattered. Not me. Not us. What strangers might think. I walked into the bedroom and pulled my overnight bag from the closet. What are you doing? Leaving. Don't do this. You already did. He followed me. We can talk after the wedding. There won't be anything left to talk about. He reached for my arm. I stepped away. For 2 years I've defended you. I know. I helped rebuild your life. I know. And when your mother humiliates me, you protect her feelings instead of mine. Tanya. I'm done talking. I walked out before he could answer. For 20 minutes I sat alone in my car inside the apartment garage. Was I overreacting? Had I thrown away 2 years over one wedding? Before I could decide, my phone rang. Tessa Monroe, my closest friend since college. You sound awful, she said after hearing my voice. I told her everything. She listened without interrupting. When I finally stopped talking, she sighed. So, he uninvited you because his mother thinks you're embarrassing. Basically. And you're wondering whether you overreacted? Maybe. Tanya. Her voice became firm. You're not his girlfriend anymore. What? You're his life support system. The words stung because they were true. You pay bills. You organize everything. You solve problems. But the moment someone more exciting shows up, she didn't need to finish. I already knew. Saturday arrived. Christian left around 2 that afternoon. He hugged me quickly near the apartment door. We'll talk Sunday. We'll see. He smiled nervously and left. 5 minutes later, I walked to the living room window overlooking the street. An Uber stopped outside. Christian rolled his suitcase toward it. Then another passenger stepped out to help him. Long, dark hair. Leather jacket. Confident smile. Bianca. She laughed as Christian hugged her. He placed his hand against her back while loading their luggage. My chest went completely numb. I hadn't been excluded to avoid awkwardness. I'd been replaced. Exactly as Helen planned. I picked up my phone. Tessa? I'm coming. She arrived 30 minutes later with her SUV and a stack of moving boxes. You sure? I looked around the apartment. Every sacrifice I'd made was sitting in that room. Every late bill. Every skipped vacation. Every cheap dinner. I'm sure. We worked methodically. Only my belongings. Nothing that belonged to Christian. My clothes, documents, passport, tax records, emergency savings, the television I'd purchased, my gaming console, the speakers, kitchen appliances. Tessa photographed every room before we left. Insurance, she said. I nodded. Then I walked toward the internet modem sitting beside the television. The account was in my name. Every month I paid for the internet, streaming services, and smart home system. I unplugged the router. The apartment instantly became quieter. No connected lights. No smart speakers. No streaming. No voice assistant. For 2 years I had been the invisible system holding his life together. Now that system was leaving. I placed my apartment key on the kitchen counter. No note. No goodbye. Nothing. Tessa closed the apartment door behind us. That's it? That's it. An hour later, I checked into a Marriott downtown. Our boxes covered half the hotel room. At 4:45 p.m., I sat on the edge of the bed. The ceremony would begin in 15 minutes. Tessa handed me a slice of pizza. You okay? I surprised myself. I actually feel relieved. At 7:38, my phone rang. David, Christian's father. I answered. Tanya. His voice sounded confused. Are you at the hospital? I frowned. What hospital? Christian said you collapsed before the ceremony. He said you insisted he still come because you didn't want to ruin Nicholas's wedding. I closed my eyes. He hadn't simply replaced me. He had erased me. There was no emergency, David. Silence. What? Christian uninvited me 2 days ago. What? He said Helen thought I was a downgrade. Another long silence. Then David spoke quietly. Bianca is sitting in your seat. I looked at Tessa. She already knew. Christian brought her instead. David exhaled heavily. I've spent the last hour trying to figure out what happened. It happened exactly the way it looks. In the background, I heard music, glasses, people talking. Then David lowered his voice. Bianca's already drunk. Tessa raised an eyebrow. David continued. She just tried pitching a business idea to Julia's father during dinner. I almost laughed. It wasn't funny. But it was so perfectly predictable. I'm sorry, David said. So am I. Tanya. I'm finished, David. I moved out this afternoon. You moved out? While they were saying their vows. He didn't answer immediately. Finally, he whispered, I don't think there's any fixing this anymore. There isn't. I wished Nicholas and Julia a happy marriage. Then I ended the call. For the first time in months, I felt completely certain I had made the right decision. About 20 minutes later, Tessa's phone rang. It was Nicholas. He had gotten her number from David because no one could reach me. The moment I answered, he apologized. I'm so sorry, Tanya. I had no idea Christian invited Bianca. I know. He told everyone you were in the hospital. I figured. Nicholas sighed. Bianca got drunk during cocktail hour. She started pitching business ideas to my father-in-law, then argued with one of Julia's relatives. My wedding turned into Christian's relationship drama. I'm sorry your day was overshadowed. I'm fixing it. Before I could respond, he added, I'm removing Christian from the reception. I closed my eyes. You don't have to do that because of me. I'm doing it because he lied to everyone on my wedding day. A few minutes later, Tessa received a short video from one of the guests. Security was escorting Bianca toward the lobby. Christian was following behind her while Helen argued with the venue manager. The video ended with Nicholas telling his brother to leave. Neither Christian nor Bianca returned. I slept better that night than I had in months. Monday morning began with paperwork. I notified the landlord that I had moved out. I transferred every utility out of my name. I canceled the streaming services I paid for, changed every password, removed Christian from every shared account, downloaded 2 years of bank records showing rent, groceries, insurance, tuition, and the car payments I had covered. I saved everything into a folder called Evidence. When I finally turned my phone back on, it exploded. Dozens of missed calls. More than 100 text messages. At first, they were angry. Where are you? Why did you take the TV? You embarrassed me. Then came blame. You ruined Nicholas's wedding. Then panic. Please answer. Can we talk? Finally, I made a mistake. Please come home. I archived every message without replying. Then I blocked his number. That evening, as I walked toward my car after work, Christian was waiting beside it. His eyes were red. You blocked me. Yes. We need to talk. We don't. He stepped closer. I panicked. You invited Bianca. I thought I needed closure. You took her to your brother's wedding. I know. You lied and told everyone I was in the hospital. I know. He looked exhausted. I miss you. I met his eyes. What exactly do you miss? He frowned. My question is simple. I took one step closer. Tell me one thing you miss that isn't something I did for you. Silence. The rent? Nothing. The budgeting? Nothing. The car? Nothing. The bills? His shoulders slowly dropped. He couldn't answer. Because he didn't miss me. He missed what I made possible. My father won't even speak to me, he whispered. He'll forgive you someday. Will you? No. I unlocked my car. I can't afford the apartment. You'll figure it out. The car loan? You have 30 days to refinance it. I probably won't qualify. Then sell it. I got inside. He stood there watching as I drove away. For the first time since we met, I didn't look back. 2 days later, Christian posted on social media a vague message about people abandoning you when you need them most. Helen praised his strength. Friends filled the comments with sympathy. That afternoon, Helen sent me a private message. She accused me of humiliating Christian and abandoning him without warning. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I opened the screenshots from Christian's tablet. The conversation where he admitted missing Bianca. Helen encouraging him to test the spark. Diane telling him not to settle. I uploaded every screenshot publicly. No caption, just the truth. Within an hour, people stopped comforting Christian. Instead, they started asking difficult questions. Why did he lie? Why did he bring Bianca? Why did Helen encourage it? I never responded again. The evidence spoke for itself. 2 weeks later, I returned with the building manager to collect the last of my furniture. Christian stood silently in the doorway. Helen shouted that I was destroying her son's life. I ignored her. Everything I removed had receipts. Everything was documented. Within an hour, my belongings were gone. Christian sat alone in an apartment that suddenly felt much larger. A month later, he missed the first payment on the car we had financed together. I paid it once to protect my credit. Then I sent him a message. Refinance the loan by December 1st, or I will force the sale. He begged for more time. His credit wasn't ready. He was trying. I refused. December arrived. No refinance. Another missed payment. I contacted the lender. Eventually, the vehicle was recovered and sold. David covered the remaining balance so my credit would not suffer. The day my name disappeared from the loan, I deleted every document connected to Christian except the evidence folder. I hoped never to open it again. 5 months after the wedding, I saw him outside my gym. He looked thinner, older. Tanya, please. I stopped. You have 5 minutes. He told me therapy had changed him. He admitted he had spent years chasing excitement because Helen convinced him stability meant settling. He apologized for choosing Bianca, for lying, for the wedding, for everything. I've changed, he said quietly. I believe you. Hope returned to his face. But that doesn't change what happened. His smile disappeared. I still love you. I shook my head. No. He looked confused. I loved you. Past tense. I helped you through debt. I stood beside you when nobody else did. I sacrificed my comfort so you could build a future. And when your mother convinced you I wasn't exciting enough. I paused. You traded me for someone who had already destroyed your life once. Tears rolled down his face. It was one mistake. I shook my head again. It wasn't one mistake. It was dozens of choices. He had no answer. As I turned away, he spoke one last time. We were good together. I stopped without looking back. No, Christian. I was good to you. There's a difference. I walked to my car. This time, he didn't follow. 2 months later, I met Ryan, a nurse who worked with one of our partner hospitals. He asked thoughtful questions. He kept his promises. He never confused kindness with weakness. One evening, he asked whether I believed stable relationships could still be exciting. I smiled. I finally do. The greatest lesson Christian ever taught me wasn't how to survive betrayal. It was that the right person will never mistake your loyalty for something ordinary.